Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Columbus, Ohio, it's time for Columbus Business Radio. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Columbus Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. Today we have with us Mike Faga with Studio MFP. Welcome, Mike.
Hi, how you doing, Lee?
I am doing well. Before we get too far into things, tell us about Studio MFP. How are you serving folks?
Well, Studio MFP is basically the user-friendly marketing agency. We tend to service a lot of small businesses that can't really afford the big business marketing agencies and then have graduated away from trying to do it themselves.
So how'd you get into this line of work?
I got into this line of work probably around 2011, 2012, when I started dabbling in photography and video, doing things like portraiture, wedding photography, and then graduating into more commercial work. And that quickly dove into an atmosphere of working with photography clients and bringing them into different services like social media, helping them out with getting their pictures on their website. And I just became this consultant for my clients to help them out with other different things related to these photos that I was making for them. And then over time, I started working with them on things like their website, having to move into some IT work, helping them out with social media marketing. And I just really saw this need that wasn't being met with me doing it by myself, as well as what they were currently going through, trying to make these ends meet for their needs. So I started working with some partners, getting things going. And then by 2016, I had a full marketing agency service model that I was able to bring to my clients.
And that's a great example for our listeners out there that are business folks to listen to your clients and just kind of be open to the things that they're asking for, and then just keep trying to serve them to the best of your ability. And then lo and behold, you have a whole business now with a plethora of services that you're able to work with a lot of different people. But it started out with just listening to their needs, right?
Exactly. So the first kind of deep dive into the marketing world was helping my clients out with their photos and their services that I couldn't necessarily meet right off the bat. So when a client came to me with photography needs, and then I had to work on figuring out how to edit these photos and these videos quickly to turn around and to keep the cost down, it was getting so much more expensive for me to do it myself. So I brought on people like editors or website designers, things like that, to make sure that I was doing it the right way, and it was able to divide the cost out instead of having my time be the most valuable thing there. I was able to make a company out of it and not have to worry about being a freelancer long term.
So now when you started doing this, it sounds like you started in the photography world and then expanded out to other kind of services from that point?
Exactly.
And then do you remember the time when you got your first client that was not photography, and then how did that come about?
Yeah, so my first client that came about that wasn't necessarily a photography-specific client ended up being something that really dove into a whole slew of different services. So I was working with another photographer that wanted me to help with how they automated their business, scheduling clients, building website portals, things of that nature. And I worked with him on a little bit more than just that. And then this turned into kind of a software solution. We started working together on figuring out how to automate his photography business to bring in the clients to work on those different models. And that turned into our first service package, and his first offer that we made as a company was the software geared towards photographers and how to automate their system. And that kind of helped us realize that marketing agencies and other sorts of businesses could automate these workflows, drive costs down, and to help serve more customers.
And then that kind of opened your mind to other kind of niches?
Yeah, so kind of the exact kind of workflow and how our business started was this photography software we started working with ended up turning into other businesses wanting to use the same kind of software for their solution. So we ended up tweaking it, changing some things here and there, and that turned into Studio MFP being a full service automated marketing agency. It stemmed from this idea that there should be something that any business could go to automate these mundane tasks and help them fill in the gaps where their business isn't necessarily shining in. Whereas, a small business, they want to focus on serving their customers, selling their products, making a difference, and helping out with their clients' needs. And we were building this system that really helped all those little nooks and crannies that they ended up having to either hire out for, get a freelancer, a consulting firm, a different vendor, another platform, and they're piecing all these pieces together. And that is expensive. So why couldn't we make something that helped fill in all those gaps, kept the cost down, and they had one person to work with? They didn't have to worry about having 20 different vendors and partners to have to manage.
Now, once you made that change and kind of became like a service rather than selling commodity kind of individual services, you kind of bundled everything into one kind of turnkey solution, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. What does that first kind of conversation look like? What is the pain the entrepreneur is having? Do they normally come in because of a pain in one of the areas and then you show them this kind of turnkey solution? Or do they kind of bite off the whole thing all at once once they get to know what you're doing?
Well, it really depends on the entrepreneur or the small business's pain points. Sometimes you'll have a small business that thinks they need one thing and that turns into another. So, for example, we just finished up a great photo shoot for a client that came to us from an offer that we put with the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. So if you're a member of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce, as your Columbus listeners might be, they'll get a free trial of our social media marketing services. So we like to work with them on that. But they came to us and they wanted this offer for this free trial of our social media. And that turned into us diving in and saying, well, even if we have this great social media package for you, we still want to make sure that you're getting some more immediate, long-lasting results. So that turned into some search engine optimization conversations. That turned into some Google advertising conversations. And then that led into, well, we need something to market with for the holidays. And that turned into this photo shoot that helped them market their specific product they wanted to have. And we now have this great marketing package for them for the remainder of 2020 that allows them to market their specific product they want to sell, focus it on social media, and drive in some traffic from Google. So this turned into this great solution that still costs them less than what it would be to have a full-time employee managing all that at once.
And that's one of those things where they probably didn't know what they didn't know, right? Like it was after consulting with experts that they were able to kind of get a feel for what could be rather than just solve this problem that I have in my head that may or may not be really holistically what I need to get done. There could be a better answer.
Exactly. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurs are great at, is identifying what problems they have, and they dive right into how to find the solution. Entrepreneurs and small business owners are really, really good at making sure their problems are met and their needs are met, and they love to do it themselves. So a lot of times they'll have these great ideas and these great concepts of what problems they're facing. But until you get in front of an expert, there might be a whole can of worms underneath that might be causing more issues down the road. And that's what we like to do, is have a free consultation, speak with them, figure out their pain points, and really guide them to a solution that's better for their wallet and better for their company.
Now, you're talking about serving entrepreneurs and small business people, but do you also work with agencies? Do agencies kind of white label your offering?
We do have a partner program. So if another agency or even a freelancer, someone that wants to get into the marketing game, they can come to us and we have a full white label solution. So that way, if they need a way to host their clients' websites, they want to buy our services, at a wholesale kind of value and repurpose them for their clients, we don't necessarily want to turn that away. We want to partner with them, make sure they have the best services available for their customers, even if we're not the ones facing that customer for them.
Now, when you're working with your clients through a pandemic, has anything kind of dramatically changed, or since most of your work is online, the COVID really didn't impact what you had going on?
Well, COVID impacts all the businesses in different ways. Some of our clients had to close their doors, and that was beyond our control. A lot of restaurants closed. A lot of professional face-to-face kind of businesses had to close as well. And unfortunately, we haven't seen them back. But a lot of what we do has benefited from COVID, because a lot of times you need that face-to-face interaction on a regular day-to-day basis with your business. And so outsourcing it with an agency like ours, who doesn't need to be in front of your clients or doesn't need to be in front of your business, we can keep going for you in the background and cut those costs down significantly, because you're no longer having to pay, these high-end consulting firms or having employees be doing the work day in, day out that you don't want to have to pay them for. You can have them focus on the more important tasks, like getting those sales, getting those customers happy, and then having us do all the stuff that doesn't need to be in person.
Right. You're kind of working in the background.
Exactly. It's kind of the benefit of having a virtual agency in the beginning rather than being an in-person agency and moving remote.
Now, how do you find your clients kind of handling what's going on now and all the changes that are occurring? Is this something that you have to almost be, I don't want to say a therapist, but you got to be able to kind of have a lot of empathy and be able to relate to what they're going through? Because you're probably going through, not exactly the same thing, but those things that are happening are obviously affecting you as well. How's your empathy gene in dealing with these small businesses?
Well, I like to boast the fact that I have a great empathy gene, but anyone that says that probably doesn't. So I want to be sure that all of our clients know that we have a lot of different ways to help out, whether that's, eliminating late fees, making sure that your services are being geared towards the right goals that you have right now. A lot of times that means cutting down your packages and making sure that you have the best service possible. A lot of times we've told clients, hey, you don't need to have this service right now. You don't have any need to be paying this. Let's hold off. Let's work towards something more efficient, more affordable. And a lot of times that has stemmed into things like our COVID offerings. We have a great blog post that came out, I want to say back in March, when we first offered our COVID relief programs. We were one of the first marketing agencies to really hit something for COVID. I'm looking at it right now. March 23rd, we offered free phone numbers and voicemails for businesses, as well as 25% off all of our services, so that way they could save some money. And then as well, we also held off all in-person meetings and services, refunded people for any in-person meetings they had, as well as we have COVID-19 distancing products for our print agency to help out.
Wow, so you guys were way ahead. That's pretty quick pivot.
We want to make sure that our clients see us as a partner instead of a vendor. They come to us with problems, we help them out with solutions, and we want to lead the pack as a business partner for them instead of having to be a reactive agency.
Now, how about give our listeners some advice, maybe some low-hanging fruit if they're going to take on maybe digital marketing on their own? Any kind of mistakes you see made that maybe is easily correctable or that they don't have to make?
Yeah, there's a lot of small businesses that look at digital marketing and they turn to different solutions online, and they end up getting into this rabbit hole of all of these different tasks like off-page versus on-page optimization and a lot of really big ticket items. But I want to instead focus them on the basics, getting these technical things down so that way any work that they do in the future is not going to be for a loss, right? And a lot of that is just securing your website and consolidating all of your marketing into one spot, bringing everything together, looking at it from a marketing plan perspective and say, okay, what am I doing? What is the cost? What is the return on investment? And what am I using to track this information? Is it a key performance indicator? Is it Google Analytics? What am I looking for to see what my marketing is doing? So what we like to do is provide all of our clients with a free website audit that takes down all of their marketing initiatives and puts it in one spot so that way they could have a nice list of recommendations and things they can do immediately to increase their marketing online. A lot of those things is just security issues, making sure you have a secure socket layer or an SSL on your website. That's that little lock in the URL bar that says that you have an encrypted website. If you don't have this little lock in your URL bar, Google is not going to want to show your website to customers. They made the change a couple of years ago. They want to make sure that all of their traffic is going towards encrypted and secure websites. And that's the easiest and most affordable thing you can do to secure your website for marketing purposes and to increase your search engine optimization for Google.
Good stuff. Well, Mike, thank you so much for sharing your story. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you. If somebody wants to learn more, what's the website?
Our website is studiomfp.com, and you can go there for any of our resources, check out our blog for any tips and tricks and helpful insights in marketing worlds, and love to get in touch with you, schedule a free consultation to work with us immediately.
Good stuff. Thank you again for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Columbus Business Radio.